Picture a room filled with noise. Music is playing, drinks are clinking, and conversations are overlapping in a loud, chaotic blur. Now, look past the center of attention, over to the edge of the crowd. There is usually one person standing perfectly still, taking it all in without saying a word. It is easy to look at that person and make quick assumptions. We often label them as shy, assume they lack confidence, or guess they are simply antisocial. But psychology suggests a different story. When someone is that quiet on the outside, it often means their mind is working at full speed on the inside. They aren't checked out, they are actively processing the world around them. To understand why they stay silent, we have to look at the specific way an introverted mind handles information. Once you see how this internal machinery works, that silence stops looking like a social mistake and starts looking like a deliberate way of interacting with the world. Let's break down how this works. Most people react to a question immediately, figuring out what they want to say while they are already speaking. But quiet individuals often operate in reverse. They process everything internally before they ever open their mouths. When asked a question, the prompt lands on a mental conveyor belt. It moves under a magnifying glass, examined and weighed for meaning. While appearing silent, they are actively building a complete response. When they finally speak, they offer a finished thought. This leads to another major difference in how quiet minds operate, how they manage the flow of information. Talking pushes information out into the room. Listening pulls information in. Because they spend less time broadcasting, they spend much more time receiving. They watch how people move, they listen to slight vocal changes, and notice patterns others miss. They can gather this information seamlessly because everyone else is distracted by the act of talking. This constant observation turns their silence into a data gathering tool. It is why the quietest person in the room is often the most aware of what is actually happening. We all know the feeling of a conversation suddenly stopping. That pause feels awkward, so most of us rush to fill the void with any words we can find, usually small talk about the weather or the commute. Quiet minds don't feel that same panic. For them, empty, surface-level chatting is exhausting. It rapidly drains their mental energy. Instead of rushing to speak, they let the pause exist. They are comfortable in the quiet, saving their focus for conversations that feel useful or intentional. This careful management of energy also applies to their emotions. Keeping their thoughts private is a natural way to protect their inner world. By limiting what they say, they create a shield. This blocks external judgment and keeps internal thoughts safe from untrusted people. They only release information when it feels safe, giving them control over how much the world knows about them. Their quietness is a curated defense system. It is a way to protect their energy and maintain their privacy in a world that is always asking for more. Think back to that person standing at the edge of the party. Once you understand the way they process the world, their stance looks very different. They aren't just standing there, they are observing and collecting. Being quiet is not the same thing as being weak. When someone chooses their words carefully, they don't waste breath on the unnecessary. That focus makes their presence feel stronger, not smaller. If you are someone who talks frequently, resist the urge to fill every silence. Give your quiet peers the time they need to think. And if you are one of those quiet people, remember that your communication style is just a different way of being wired. It is a tool for understanding, not a social flaw. When someone chooses to speak less, they ensure that when they finally do speak, their words have the weight of an entire active mind behind them.